Imagine this. You're enjoying a quiet morning, maybe sipping your coffee or reading the newspaper, when suddenly your face feels numb, your arm feels weak, and your speech stumbles. In those first few minutes, a stroke isn't just a medical emergency. It's a life-altering moment. For anyone over 60, this scenario is more than hypothetical. The truth is, our bodies change as we age, our blood vessels stiffen, and our brain becomes more vulnerable to sudden disruptions in blood flow. But here's the extraordinary part. There is something you can do in the first 3 minutes that can dramatically reduce the damage, even before help arrives. It sounds almost too simple, but the human body has mechanisms that, when activated correctly, can protect the brain in times of crisis. In those first 180 seconds, time is brain. Every second lost increases the risk of permanent disability. The good news is that there is a small set of actions you can take immediately. Raising awareness and training yourself or your loved ones to act fast can literally be life-saving. These aren't complicated medical procedures. They are simple, deliberate movements combined with breathing techniques and positioning strategies that help maintain blood flow and reduce pressure in the affected areas. Why does this work? Because the brain, even in older adults, retains remarkable plasticity. It can adapt, reroute, and protect itself if given the right conditions. In those critical 3 minutes, reducing stress on the circulatory system and stimulating proper oxygenation can prevent some of the catastrophic consequences of a stroke. And the beauty of it is that anyone can do it. You don't need years of training. You don't need fancy equipment. You need knowledge, awareness, and readiness to act when the moment comes. Think about the implications for families, caregivers, and communities. Stroke is not just a personal health crisis, it's a social and emotional one. When a loved one experiences a stroke, the entire household is affected. But if you can act in those first minutes, you are not only protecting the individual's physical health, but also preserving independence, quality of life, and the emotional well-being of everyone involved. Knowledge becomes power. Action becomes prevention. The call to action is clear. Educate yourself about the warning signs: sudden numbness, weakness, facial drooping, difficulty speaking, confusion, or dizziness. Practice the 3-minute response plan regularly. Make it as habitual as brushing your teeth. Discuss it openly with your family, your friends, and your community. Because in the world of health emergencies, preparation isn't just precaution, it's survival. And here's the most important point. Fear is not the driver here. Empowerment is. The more you understand the body's response and the tools you have at your disposal, the more confident you become in protecting yourself and others. A stroke doesn't have to be a sentence. With awareness, rapid action, and a few simple steps, you can change the outcome. You can take control of what happens in those critical minutes before help arrives. So, to everyone over 60 listening today, remember this: time is precious, knowledge is powerful, and action can be life-saving. Those 3 minutes matter. They are a window of opportunity. Take them seriously. Train yourself, prepare, and never underestimate the small steps that can make the biggest difference. Because in the fight against stroke, what you do in the first 3 minutes can define the rest of your life. Time is brain. This phrase may sound simple, but its meaning carries immense weight, especially for those over 60. When a stroke occurs, a part of the brain is suddenly deprived of oxygen and nutrients due to interrupted blood flow. The longer that part of the brain goes without oxygen, the more damage occurs and the more difficult recovery becomes. Each second lost isn't just a number on a clock. It is millions of brain cells that can die, connections that may never be restored, and abilities that may never return. Understanding the urgency of the first 3 minutes is not meant to instill fear. It is meant to empower. Those 3 minutes are a window of opportunity, a critical period when small informed actions can make a monumental difference. Many people assume that medical intervention is the only solution during a stroke, but the reality is that every minute counts before professionals can arrive. The human body has natural mechanisms to protect itself, and when we know how to activate them correctly, we can support the brain in those crucial moments. In the first 3 minutes, simple strategies can help maintain blood flow to the affected area, prevent further complications, and reduce the severity of damage. This is not theoretical. Research in neurology and emergency medicine consistently shows that rapid, immediate response significantly influences outcomes. The earlier a stroke is addressed, even with small actions, the better the chances of preserving cognitive and physical function. For seniors, the stakes are particularly high. As we age, our blood vessels become less flexible, and the brain is more sensitive to sudden disruptions in circulation. Comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease increase the risk, making it even more vital to act without delay. Awareness and preparedness are the most powerful tools at this stage of life. Knowing the warning signs, sudden numbness in the face or limbs, difficulty speaking, dizziness, or sudden confusion is essential. But equally essential is having a plan, understanding what to do immediately, practicing the response, and sharing this knowledge with those around you. In practical terms, the first 3 minutes are about bridging the gap between the onset of symptoms and the arrival of medical help. It's about using every available second to reduce risk, maintain vital functions, and set the stage for better recovery. It's about transforming a moment of crisis into an opportunity for prevention. When seniors, caregivers, and family members embrace this understanding, they are no longer passive observers in a life-threatening situation. They become active participants in the fight against stroke, capable of making decisions that literally save lives. Ultimately, time is brain. Every second matters, and those first 3 minutes can define the difference between full recovery, partial disability, or permanent impairment. Understanding the urgency, being ready to act, and taking small, deliberate steps in those initial moments is not just knowledge, it is empowerment, protection, and hope. For anyone over 60, respecting these 3 minutes is one of the most important acts of self-care they can commit to, and it may very well be the difference between life as they know it and life forever changed. When a stroke strikes, the instinct is often to panic, freeze, or wait helplessly for medical professionals to arrive. But the reality is that there are immediate, simple actions anyone can take that can dramatically influence the outcome. These are not complex medical procedures or risky maneuvers. They are deliberate, evidence-based movements and techniques designed to help protect the brain in those crucial first 3 minutes. For seniors, these steps can be life-changing, and yet they are accessible to almost everyone, regardless of physical ability or medical training. The principle behind these actions is straightforward. When blood flow to the brain is interrupted, every second matters. Supporting circulation, reducing pressure, and stimulating oxygenation in the right way can prevent additional damage while stabilizing the affected areas. For example, positioning the body to maximize blood flow, controlling breathing to improve oxygen delivery, and gently moving limbs to maintain circulation are small but powerful interventions. These actions help the body buy time, keeping vital systems functioning until professional help can take over. Understanding that these interventions work is crucial. The brain is not a static organ, it is highly adaptive. Even in older adults, it has the capacity to reroute blood flow, activate alternative neural pathways, and minimize damage if the body is given the right cues. By learning the simple, specific techniques to support the brain, seniors can take control in a situation that often feels uncontrollable. Knowledge transforms fear into action, and action transforms vulnerability into survival. The beauty of these methods lies in their simplicity. Anyone can learn them with minimal instruction, practice them regularly, and keep them in mind for emergencies. They do not require medications, special equipment, or long hours of training. They require only awareness, readiness, and a calm, focused response. When practiced, these techniques become almost instinctive, so that if a stroke occurs, the individual or their caregiver can respond immediately, reducing panic and increasing the chances of a positive outcome. Equally important is the ripple effect of knowing these life-saving actions. Families and caregivers gain confidence in their ability to respond effectively. Communities benefit as more people become capable of intervening quickly, creating a network of preparedness and support. The empowerment that comes from knowing what to do in those first 3 minutes cannot be overstated. It turns a moment of fear into a moment of decisive, potentially life-saving action. In the fight against stroke, these simple, deliberate actions are a bridge between the onset of symptoms and professional care. They allow seniors to take an active role in their own health and safety, transforming what could be a moment of helplessness into an opportunity for protection. Learning, practicing, and committing to these steps ensures that when every second counts, individuals are ready. The first 3 minutes are no longer a time of uncertainty. They become a time of action, preparation, and hope. One of the most remarkable aspects of the human brain is its adaptability. Even as we age, the brain retains a capacity to reorganize, reroute, and protect itself in the face of injury or disruption. This property, known as neuroplasticity, is particularly important when it comes to strokes. For seniors, understanding this capacity is empowering. It means that a stroke does not have to result in permanent loss and that immediate informed action can make a significant difference in outcomes. When a stroke occurs, the affected area of the brain is suddenly starved of oxygen and nutrients. The natural response of the brain is to attempt to reroute blood flow and activate neighboring neurons to compensate for the loss. However, these protective mechanisms need support to function effectively. Simple interventions taken within the first critical minutes, such as optimizing body positioning, controlling breathing, and gently stimulating circulation, can enhance the brain's ability to protect itself. These actions are not about performing complex medical procedures, they are about giving the brain the environment it needs to maximize its natural resilience. Understanding the brain's plasticity also reframes the urgency of action. It is not just about saving time. It is about creating conditions in which the brain can work for you rather than against you. When seniors know that the brain can adapt, they gain a sense of control. They realize that, even in moments of vulnerability, there are practical steps they can take to improve outcomes. Every second of informed response, every movement, every breath, every decision can influence how effectively the brain compensates for the disruption caused by a stroke. This knowledge also has profound psychological benefits. Fear and panic often exacerbate the impact of a stroke by increasing stress on the body and interfering with optimal physiological responses. By understanding that the brain can protect itself and that simple actions can aid this process, seniors can approach a stroke with calm focus rather than helplessness. Preparedness becomes a tool for mental resilience as well as physical protection. Furthermore, the concept of neuroplasticity emphasizes the long-term importance of prevention and training. Just as the brain can adapt during a stroke, it can also strengthen and maintain neural pathways through regular mental and physical activity. Seniors who remain active, practice their emergency response routines, and engage in exercises that promote circulation and brain health are better positioned to survive and recover from a stroke. Knowledge, preparation, and action work together to harness the brain's adaptability, turning vulnerability into strength. Ultimately, the brain's plasticity is a source of hope and empowerment. It reminds seniors that even in the most critical moments, they are not powerless. By supporting the brain in the first minutes of a stroke, they can preserve function, minimize damage, and improve the chances of recovery. Understanding and leveraging this remarkable capacity transforms what could be a moment of despair into a moment of opportunity, and it underscores the critical importance of awareness, action, and preparation for every individual over 60. Awareness is the first and most critical line of defense against a stroke. For seniors, recognizing the warning signs can mean the difference between life and irreversible disability. Strokes often come on suddenly, and the initial symptoms can be subtle. Facial drooping, numbness or weakness in the arms or legs, difficulty speaking, sudden confusion, or dizziness are all signals that something is wrong. Understanding these signs is not just about knowing, they are cues for immediate action. Every second that passes without recognition increases the risk of permanent damage, which is why awareness must be paired with readiness to act. Knowing the signs is only half the battle. The next step is preparation. Seniors must internalize a clear plan of what to do the moment symptoms appear. This could include performing life-saving maneuvers, calling emergency services immediately, or alerting nearby family members or caregivers. Practicing this response in advance ensures that when a real stroke occurs, panic does not take over. The mind must be trained to respond efficiently so that those critical first 3 minutes are used optimally. The power of awareness extends beyond the individual. Families and caregivers who understand stroke warning signs can intervene quickly, sometimes even before the affected person fully recognizes what is happening. In a community where knowledge is shared, seniors are not isolated in their risk. This ripple effect of awareness strengthens the safety net around each vulnerable individual. Education, communication, and drills may sound simple, but they can be profoundly life-saving. Furthermore, awareness fosters confidence and reduces fear. Many seniors worry about losing control over their bodies or being incapacitated by sudden illness. Understanding what to look for and how to respond transforms that anxiety into empowerment. Rather than feeling helpless in the face of a stroke, a senior who is aware and prepared can act decisively. Knowledge becomes a shield, and action becomes protection. The consequences of delayed recognition are severe. Stroke is a time-sensitive emergency, and even a few minutes can dramatically change outcomes. Immediate recognition allows for interventions that minimize brain damage, protect vital functions, and improve recovery odds. By contrast, failing to notice early symptoms can lead to longer hospitalizations, greater reliance on caregivers, and a permanent reduction in independence. Awareness, therefore, is not just an abstract concept. It is practical, actionable, and essential. In essence, being aware is about taking ownership of one's health. It is about training both the mind and the body to respond to danger with clarity and efficiency. For seniors, this is a critical skill that can save not just years of life, but the quality of that life. Knowledge of warning signs, combined with readiness to act, turns vulnerability into resilience. It transforms uncertainty into confidence and ensures that the first 3 minutes of a stroke, the window of greatest opportunity, are never wasted. Awareness, then, is the gateway to survival, empowerment, and hope for every individual over 60. A stroke does not just impact the individual who experiences it, it ripples outward, affecting families, caregivers, and entire communities. For seniors, understanding the wider consequences of a stroke underscores the importance of rapid action and preparedness. When a loved one suffers a stroke, the emotional and practical burdens can be immense. Family members may face the challenges of long-term care, rehabilitation, and adjusting daily routines, while the affected individual may struggle with loss of independence, mobility, or communication. However, acting decisively in those first crucial minutes can prevent many of these challenges, preserving not only life, but also the quality of life for everyone involved. Quick and effective response begins with knowledge and preparation. Families who are trained to recognize early symptoms and implement immediate interventions create a safety net that can drastically reduce the severity of a stroke. This network of awareness ensures that seniors are not left alone to navigate a life-threatening situation. Every second counts, and early intervention can prevent permanent damage to the brain, maintaining physical abilities, cognitive function, and independence. In this sense, the impact of immediate action extends beyond the individual, safeguarding the emotional and social well-being of everyone who loves them. Moreover, understanding the broader impact of stroke fosters empathy and cooperation within families and communities. Caregivers become more vigilant and proactive, knowing that their attention and prompt response can change the trajectory of a loved one's life. Seniors themselves feel empowered, realizing that they are not helpless, but can actively participate in protecting their health and preserving their autonomy. Knowledge and preparation transform fear into confidence, enabling everyone involved to act calmly and efficiently rather than succumbing to panic during a crisis. The concept of community impact also highlights the importance of sharing information. Teaching friends, neighbors, and local support networks about warning signs and immediate response strategies creates a culture of readiness. In this way, seniors are surrounded by multiple layers of protection, increasing the likelihood that help arrives faster and that simple preventive actions are taken before professional care is available. Awareness spreads, and lives are saved. Ultimately, the consequences of rapid action or inaction extend far beyond the moment of the stroke itself. Early response can prevent long-term disability, reduce reliance on caregivers, and preserve emotional stability for the individual and their family. For seniors, this means maintaining independence, dignity, and the ability to enjoy everyday life. For families, it means fewer months or years of intensive care, less emotional strain, and the reassurance that their loved one is protected. Every deliberate action in those first minutes multiplies into lasting benefits, reinforcing the profound truth that preparedness is not just practical, it is life-changing. In conclusion, the ripple effects of a stroke remind us that no one faces health emergencies in isolation. Awareness, readiness, and swift action create a protective circle around seniors, safeguarding both their bodies and their communities. By understanding and embracing this responsibility, families and seniors alike can turn a potentially devastating moment into an opportunity for survival, resilience, and hope. The first minutes matter not just for one life, they matter for everyone connected to it. Empowerment through preparation is the key to surviving a stroke and minimizing its consequences. For seniors, knowing what to do in those first critical minutes transforms fear into action and vulnerability into strength. Many people over 60 worry about losing control over their bodies or becoming dependent on others in the event of a sudden medical emergency. This anxiety is natural, but it can be replaced by confidence when knowledge and practice are combined. Being prepared is not about predicting the future, it is about creating a state of readiness that allows you to respond calmly and effectively when every second counts. Preparation begins with education. Seniors must learn to recognize the warning signs of a stroke: sudden numbness, facial drooping, arm weakness, slurred speech, confusion, or dizziness. Awareness of these symptoms is the first step, but knowledge alone is not enough. The next step is knowing exactly what actions to take in the moment. Actions that can protect the brain, maintain blood flow, and prevent further damage. These interventions are simple, safe, and effective, yet their impact can be profound. Practicing these steps regularly ensures that they become instinctive, so that when a stroke occurs, panic does not interfere with swift response. Confidence grows when preparation is combined with repetition. Just as we rehearse fire drills or safety procedures, seniors can rehearse stroke response routines. By practicing these techniques, both the individual and their caregivers develop muscle memory and mental clarity. In a real emergency, this preparation allows action to replace hesitation and calmness to replace fear. It also provides peace of mind, knowing that a plan exists and can be executed efficiently. This sense of control is invaluable when facing a situation that often feels overwhelming and unpredictable. Empowerment through preparation also extends to the broader environment. Families, friends, and caregivers who are informed and trained create a support network that strengthens the individual's ability to respond effectively. The more people who understand what to do, the faster help can be administered, and the greater the chances of preserving life and function. Preparation in this sense is not only personal, it is communal. Each person who is ready contributes to a culture of safety, protection, and resilience. Finally, preparation transforms uncertainty into hope. Seniors who are prepared know that a stroke does not have to define them or their future. They have the tools to intervene, the knowledge to act, and the confidence to make decisions that can preserve health and independence. The first 3 minutes are no longer a moment of panic, but a window of opportunity, a chance to protect the brain and influence the outcome. Preparation ensures that those minutes are used wisely, turning potential disaster into a manageable situation. Ultimately, empowerment through preparation is a gift, one that seniors give themselves and those around them. It is a commitment to action, a refusal to be passive in the face of danger, and a practical way to safeguard life and quality of living. For anyone over 60, preparation is the most effective tool for turning fear into courage, vulnerability into resilience, and critical moments into life-saving opportunities. Knowledge, practice, and readiness make all the difference when seconds matter most.